Hey, it's live and welcome, of course. Today it's game 11 and we are going to do what we did for the last 10 games. That is, we follow the course by International Master Andras Toth. It's the World Chess Championship 2024 Ding versus Gukesh. And yeah, I already heard that the game was kind of because I'm a Ding fan, but we'll see, of course. So, for the newcomers of you that watched this series for the first time, this course is about learning from certain positions that Andras was preparing for us. And afterwards, we're going to watch his recap from the game. And it's always nice because you'll just notice from your own thoughts about the position that you get the feel for the game way better. And as these masters sometimes do it pretty fast, you don't have to stop the video all the time, which is also really, really nice. And yeah, just a big benefit instead of the regular recaps of the games to have the tactics and strategic problems to solve, train your skills from games at the very highest level. That is World Championship level, and I'm happy if I get out of those variations like 1 or 2 correct. But yeah, it's great training. It's the first time I followed the championship, and as you know, I'm a fan of Ding. So, Ding for the win. Okay, so we dive right into it, but only with the reviews. So the good thing about Chessable is their MoveTrainer, which is based on spaced repetition. So welcome. So it is all about getting the memory for those positions like pattern recognition, but for tactics, it's like really getting it in. Because sometimes you just go through a position, a puzzle, you solve it or you get the solution, and a day afterwards, you forgot it. Yes, and that's why Chessable is so great with their MoveTrainer. It really helps you. They do reviews like every 3 hours, but I'm only doing this on a daily basis. And you'll just see how it goes. So I click on review. And from the first 10 games, we see we have 24 review sessions to go through. And if I got something correct, it will be put down all the way at the bottom of this deck, so it doesn't come up that often. And the ones that I do straight wrong and have no solution, then they present that way more often, which is so good because you just learn what you need to learn or repeat what you need to repeat. And yeah, Chessable helps you with that. So we just go here and again, I saw this now 3, 4, 5 times, but still with some positions I'm still struggling, and we just go. If I take a look to the side a little, it's my second monitor here, and yeah, I just check sometimes for chat. So let's continue. I mean, just start. So I think this was the right move, correct? That it was taking here. And now it was protecting the pawn by the knight. And then we had the move that I didn't get. I think it was... No, this one I still got. Okay, and now yesterday I didn't notice what was the correct one. It was so stupid that I didn't get it correct because we have that free pawn on e6, and that is the solution of the first variation. So we only have 24 more to go. Okay, here an interesting alternative, denying black from creating a pawn chain with b7, b5. Now black has a dynamic sequence that secures a small but firm edge. What would you play? I think I remember it, and it was a super nice thing Just need to get the first one right here. Let me just check. Yes, I think that's correct here. So we have the e5 pawn. So we have a queen exchange, takes with the rook, and we get the pawn back and have a better position. So let's go. Yes, correct. And black is a pawn to the good. All right. So next review session, and these are done really quick because they are repetition, they're reviewing. I did this earlier on, and I tried to go through it like real fast and just see that we make it to game number 11 quickly. Okay. So knight takes d5 would have been too greedy. Can you demonstrate how white obtains an edge now? Yes, it is by taking with a knight. And then I have to think. Yes, I know. It is the bishop move. He has to get the knight to e8. Queen takes, and I take the knight. All right, so that's also good. Then allows us to demonstrate an idea associated with the Nimzowitsch. Time to demonstrate. And this is terrible one. I always struggle with it. Let's see. So, black to play. Sorry. And I struggle with it right away. I think it was taking the knight. And I always struggle with the... yeah, now I get it. Now I get it. It's here, okay. So, because I was struggling with the bishop, taking a look at the a8 pawn, rook. And the goal is to stop it from advancing to d6. And that is done by first taking the knight. Now going here, attacking the rook, and finally bringing this to d6. Yes. And black achieved a dream scenario for the theme of blockade. Righty. So we continue with the next variation out of game 7, sorry. Okay, this looked very tempting, but it turns out that black's defensive resources are not to be underestimated. Can we take d5 now? Yes, we can, because there's a wonderful, well, not tactic behind it, but you'll see. Okay, and here we are having a double attack on the knight, but this can just attack the rook here. And now, yesterday, I didn't know which one of the knights to go, but the better one is this one. It keeps the attack and is sharper. Black holds the fort. White has no way to break in a sensational line. I'm on a roll 3 times in a row. I got the right solutions. Okay. In this position, Ding dropped the ball with king e5, allowing the Indian challenger considerable winning chances. How should he have defended instead? It is black to play. Okay, so it was attacking the pawns. Not attacking, but here. I mean, just to block. And then it was going here to attack the pawn on b5. And now we have an open file and can just grab it with the rook. And all the black pieces are beautifully active, and holding the draw should be easy. All right. Let's see how long I can continue that correct solution streak. And now comes the fantastic concept. Can you spot it? White to play. Yes, I think I can. And it is hanging the knight on h4 by going f3. Yes. Now I don't care. He takes, I again don't care. And now we have the pawn free on f6, right here, above here. We just take that. And now we have the move, which I think is just great. Taking the bishop. If he retakes with the rook, we have a super nice absolute pin. And, oh, wait, first take here, and now here. Yes, all right. So it's 5 in a row, I believe now. And we have 17 to go. Okay, so let's see how this continues. This is a seemingly logical move, but it has a lovely refutation, netting black a pawn. Can you spot it? Yes, this was the one I thought we had earlier on, but let's go. I know the black queen will end up on e3 and forking the king and the bishop on a3. And I know that the rook looks kind of strange in the middle of the board at this stage of the game, so we just attack it with a pawn. Yes, and now we have the how do I get the queen again there? Yes, this is something that I did not understand. And I have to look that up because I have the trouble right now again, because I think it is now bishop takes e4. And, well, no, it's all right. No, it's all right. Okay, so if I take the pawn and he says, nope, I'll take the knight on e8, I take with the queen. And then he can take my bishop, but then I have the queen move. Yes, that's the way it goes. So my question is, what happens if he takes the bishop right away on c4? He takes, and I can take the rook and up in material. So that's the proper solution. Correct. Now he takes, and here comes the fork. Okay, so that was also good, and we continue. Next variation. Can you spot what is wrong with this move? This was a fairly easy one. I yesterday got it wrong because I forgot about the rook that is protecting c4 for the fork for my knight. So we just have to chase it away. Once it is on the desired square, we can just continue with the fork because the pawn here is pinned. Next variation. This was a very interesting alternative. Can you find the best moves for white in this line? This was a difficult one, and I was so proud that I have everything correct so far. And yeah, we just go. Let's see. Here we have to take the knight. Now we take the bishop. The rook is attacked. I don't care about it and just take the bishop. It is taken. And now I have to take a look about that in between move. And I think yes, I think it was the knight move here. Correct. Now we have our pawn, our rook attacked, but there is a nice move here with the bishop. Nope, it is the in-between move before. Okay. So take when you can. This is forced and he has to go. We first take, my fault. And now we can play this one. This is chasing away, and so I can now take the rook. And finally we're okay. So I forgot that in between move, in between with the queen to get that pawn. Hello, Twitch. Okay, so next one. It's out of game number 9. This move allows white a neat finish. Can you spot it? This is review, so we did this already in one of the earlier games. And now we just have to repeat it to really get it into our heads. Yes, I now remember, and it is the fork right away. Fork on c8. If he takes with the rook, it's a back rank mate, and that's why he's not allowed to do so. Yes, correct. Nothing's happening, so I take. And we're good. Right, back in the flow. And we continue. So Black's last move was definitely an unfortunate call, allowing white to carry out his dangerous plan. How would you proceed? It is about getting the bishop. The bishop has his escape square on f5, so we deny it to him. Got it. And now he is able to attack our pawn. I don't care for now, as I can just attack the bishop. And now we have the following. We have a defender, and we need to chase away the defender. And the best way to do so is with the bishop on f2. Correct. And now... oh, I'm sorry, I'm just tired. So I can just take, remove the defender. And he would retake. So this would not be the best way, because then the rook here is attacked. I forgot that. And so we just have to bring in the second attacker on d4. And by that, he takes this one, and we are now ready to take the bishop. All right, very good. Next one. White has a huge attack against the black king. How would you conduct the final phase? I will get this right. It's from game number 2. We did this quite a while. So I'm just going with the check. There's only one escape square left. It is e6. And to prevent this, we'll just go here. And with that, we are finally able to give him a check. He has to go on the square, and it's protected by the rook and is a checkmate. So very well done. We have 11 more to go. And for this 11, we take this. This ambitious move does not work here. Can you see why? Yes, this is what we did yesterday. Yesterday I tried b5. That didn't work. So I still remember that chasing away the bishop is the best thing to do here. Okay, so now we still need to remove that. I just take. Correct. And now we have two attacking pieces, not the attacking defending pieces by black, and we have three to take the pawn. There is anyway the pawn on b2 that is hanging now, and I forgot how we did that. So was it b3 first? I don't think so, because then he can bring up the rook. So I think it was just take. But that would be an exchange if he has the possibility to take my b2 pawn. So, what to do? Is there a way to protect here? I don't think so. So we just take with the pawn and see what's happened. But this is wrong. I know that it's wrong. The safe thing would be just to play b3. I do that just for now. And it's incorrect. Yes, it was taking. Sometimes it seems to me like it's really just a 50-50 situation, and but there are of course strong reasons to play this one. I don't know anymore. For the review, I don't like to think so much, but I should. First, something to eat. Hold on. Would like b3 with the queen, but then the bishop d4 is hanging. Well, not exactly hanging, but he has 2 attackers and I only 1 defender. So something else maybe. I don't remember it. I don't know. Incorrect. And this one was the right one, but that is... With the sensational position where white has a massive center and the bishop paired to boot. Okay, so what happens if he now takes the pawn as it's free? Not exactly free, but I'd like to take a look at the engine. Engine coming up, it's black to move, so I just take. We have, hold on, 1.7 plus 1.75, 1.8, 1.6, 1.7, 1.5, 1.8. We take 1.8. So if I take, it goes to white immediately because we have the bishop on e5. Yes, get it. Okay. My fault. Stupid, didn't think of it. Okay. But of course, you first have to see it. So we're in game 10 still from yesterday. Continuing the previous line, we are now going to examine how such dynamic advantages often lead to direct assaults. What would you play here? Yes, as I said, it was the bishop move. Correct, and it's attacked. And we just take with the queen. He retreats and we can play something. What is this something here? I think taking the knight is a good one now. It's incorrect. Again. I did that yesterday and also forgot about the rook lift here. This lovely rook lift makes the attack much more dangerous while also fulfilling defensive duties by covering d3. Yes, that was the reason I forgot it. Okay, so just play it here. He goes away and now... Now I get it. This was so nice. Now it is sacrificing the bishop d3 on h7. Yes, and now we have a move that I didn't see yesterday. It's super lovely, and it is just creating mate chances. We have a mate chance with the queen on g7, and we have a mate chance with the queen with the rook on h3. Super nice puzzle, liked it a lot. Okay, and we have 9 more to go here. An analogous endgame scenario in Game 11 has occurred in the very famous Kohn-Rubinstein game. Black, in fact, is completely winning here, but there is only one strategy that works, and I remember it was bringing the... Well, it was first taking and then bringing it up. So just first exchanging. Now we have free pawn to eat. Let's see. I know already that we are not there in time, but we have to think of something now. And was it bringing the knight first? No, it was not. First, it was about securing the deep pawn, the queen side pawns. So this, nope. Okay. Yes, it was first getting the rook away from the g2 square. Yes. What does he say here? King f6. Do we have that already? Nope. Yes, so that's what we did. King h3 and king g1 will come. The first phase has been completed. We've activated our king. However, white has managed to cover all the weak spots, and now we need to enter phase 2. See the next exercise. Yes, this was a lovely one. It was all about the pawn moves now. And I think, again, we start with a b5. Nope, we don't. Start here with. Okay. Ah, now it's the other one. Ah, that happens when I want to go through this really fast. And now I don't pay attention and played that stupid move again. Oh, and now that was a brain teaser yesterday. So I think first I eat something and then we continue. Oh no, guys, I forgot to turn on the microphone after I ate something last time. So I think you still got what I showed on screen here. So yeah, we are good. And here I don't really know. Here we just go c4, freeing the bishop. That's correct. And now we have that delicious pawn. If it goes up, we can just go to d5, playing for the knight, and we are good and equal. Okay, can you see why this logical looking capture is a losing blunder? So it is a losing blunder because we have a very nice one move fork, and that is the queen to e2. That is out of game number 9. Yep, lovely double attack that nets a piece immediately. This move allows white to carry out a nice positional operation. How would you proceed? It's white to play, and I remember that we can destroy his pawn structure by taking. And now we are going to bring in the knight here because that's the undeveloped piece. Alternative. Let's see then. He should not be able to do it to us, and that's why we play h4 again. I forgot. It's the move we need to do first. Yes. And now, instead of bringing it to f3, we like to reroute it in a way that we can have a double defense for the f5 square. And that's why we bring the knight to f1. It's correct. Now we would go just to g3 and f5. Okay, very good. So next. An interesting position. White's response justifies knight fd2 rather than knight bd2. How would you play for white? For white, I will just take the knight. And that's the reason why we took with the knight here and just had in general the rook stay here. So the queen was defended and we don't have to give up our pawn structure. And here we just take with these move and we are all good. And white is a little better due to black's inferior pawn structure. 1, 2, 3 pawn islands, 1 double pawn, and we are good. Okay. 2 more to go before we can start with game number 11. Can you find a very powerful enforcing idea that crushes white's position? The answer is yes, I can, because it is out of game number 1, and we did review sessions about it for like 9 times now, I think. Okay, it all starts by the super move f6. He takes, threatens my knight. I say, I don't care, and take this one. And now he attacks my bishop, and I say I don't care, and I just take the knight. Okay, and now we are already, well, not good, but here the rook can take. And it's a sensational counterpunch in the center, etc. So here we are all good. Next variation, last one. And that is, would have kept the pawn, but this move allows black a serious initiative. How would you play? Easy one. And I remember it's about denying black denying white the castling. And we could do this by bringing the bishop to h3, but that is not as forcing at doing it here. Yes, and now could in the next game just play the next move c4, and I couldn't get to this wonderful outpost, so we do this right away. Okay, and now we bring in the queen for the final blow. There's no way to defend the e2 square for white's king. All correct. Super good. And with that, we just go to exit. We're through with all the reviews. And again, something to eat. I'm so hungry, guys. Hungry and tired. It's bad. Okay. Good. As we are done now with the review sessions, we will go to game number 10, where we have 5 variations waiting. Oh, game number 11, sorry, 6 variations even. Okay, this is now all new, and this will take longer, and we'll discuss it together and see if you have great moves. If you have a move you think this is worth trying, just let me know in chat and we go through it. So, okay, yesterday's game, game number 11, which Ding lost. So he was destroyed, but I'm curious what International Master Andras Toth here prepared for us. Might seem like a logical follow-up, but this is a slight inaccuracy, in a strategical sense, a mistake even. How would you react? Black to play. I think opening up the D file for black would be great by just taking on E3. This was also, yeah, if he takes with the F pawn, it will just tear up his pawns. And if he takes with D2, then we have kind of something equal. And I can just take the queen. So yes, both are not favorable for black, so just take. Let's see. Incorrect. The most logical developing move. The reason I added an exclamation is the emphasize emphasize the point. NC6 is great now, since white no longer has the option of playing b4, b5. That is why it is important to keep the pawn in b4 and not give in to the temptation of capture. Oh, this is something where I'm super helpless. Because can't he just chase me away? So the thing well, I cannot take. I cannot get through. I could go with the queen to a4, but that is leading to nothing. So I think it's just really a very nice move. also pretending. But we always need to think of, yeah, like the queen on a4. Then he takes with the knight. We have the double attack on c6. Could bring out the bishop to d7 and we're all good. Okay, so I believe that is all fine. Let's see how this continued. Okay, that one. Now we have double attack, triple attack on the pawn. And from here, I don't know. Anybody in chat knows? I don't know. So let's try to think. I'm tired, I'm sleepy, I'm hungry, but I have to concentrate here. As the pawn is falling anyway, he can still take something with him. So I think it's now time to get this one. Incorrect again. It was not take, it was protect. What happens if take? Well, it's all good. Sorry, just thinking to myself. But he for sure cannot take on e5. Okay, got it. I took. And now again we have a triple thing. So I think chasing away one of the defenders, in this case f3, the knight on f3, is a really good idea. So I'm going to do that. Again, incorrect. Oh no. And after subsequent bishop takes c5, black is going to have the upper hand. Because we have a triple attack then on d4. So it's protected, it's a good move. Yes, I didn't see that. Okay, next. Might seem like a logical follow-up, but this is a slight inaccuracy in strategical sense of mistake. Even how would you react? Mm-hmm. I think we just saw that and I already forgot. That means I should go to bed, but I will finish this chapter. It's only 4 puzzles or 5 puzzles to go and the game recap. We'll make it. Black to play. I think it was just taking. So, which one to take? I take with the pawn. Yes, that is correct. Congratulations. We just did 1 hour on chessable today, which is set as my goal here. Okay, quick break for something to eat. Quick. Yeah, and here we have the idea behind it, and after a subsequent bishop takes c5, black is going to have the upper hand. Okay. Next one, Perhaps the most interesting point in the opening, Gukesh now has many valid ideas to pick from. He hastily played d3, but there was a better and more fun way to play here. Can you spot it? Okay, I'm hesitating because this is new and I have to take a look. Ah, tower comes in the call. Hello. e5. You need to prevent the white d-pawn from attacking your knight. Take the d-pawn. Are we still in the same? I think this was for the last puzzle. Correct. Sorry again, I didn't see it. There is no audio info about the chat, so I saw it now. Yes, I saw it now. And tower come. Thank you again. Really appreciate it. I like it if we do the session together. And you just came into the right time. So this is now the review, not the review part anymore. It's the new puzzles from yesterday's game 11, where Ding unfortunately lost. But today was such a super game. Love it. We have a close match, and fingers crossed for Ding. Okay, so now tower come. We just take a look at the new one here. So I usually would go for some kind of development. So opening up the bishop on f8 was of course a super move, but there was a better one. Okay, f6 is developed, but we also don't have... No, I cannot see it. So maybe a knight move here, like d7 or c6. If c6 is played, he plays immediately b5, chasing us away. And that would actually be nice, because then I could just play knight e5 with a fork on the pawn and the queen. Could of course be, no, could not be defended. Yes, could be defended by queen b3 though. I would play bishop b2. We are white to play. Oh, this white to play. I'm sorry. I was just so overwhelmed to see tower come in the call that I thought we are black. So that it was, of course, then my mistake. So bishop b2 and... Bishop d3. I take a look from the white side here. And let's find something. It should be fun to play, said. Still thinking. What would he do if we attack it? So he has to defend it, and it's the only pieces that can defend that pawn is the knight on b8 and the queen, except for the pawn move to e5 then, of course. So Did you change your mind, Tower Come? I would expect the pawn move to e5. Yes, would be natural. And with that, we have a useless bishop on b2. So that's why I would not play the bishop. The knight could be easily chased away from us. Yeah. But again, the bishop would be stuck behind, so d3 was played. If it's not b2, is there anything else? Why not pawn g3 or g4? That would give our bishop a chance to go to the fianchetto wing, and the rook is still not looking good at a8. So we also got castle to a side that seems more better to defend. So I think, without ignoring your bishop b2, maybe you're correct, I would play probably g3 for now. I don't know if that's too unambitious, because g4 would also go. I don't know. I'd like to keep it safe and go to g3. Let's see. I flip the coin. Clip. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, it's g3. Okay. Incorrect. Ah. Okay. So, knight c5 exclamation mark. This is a very committal move, one that requires a deep consideration. The issue is that such pawn chains can often become easy targets. On the other hand, this move extends white space advantage and also allows the f1 bishop to shine. Yes, we opened the diagonal for the bishop. Nice. He cannot play b6 because of the rook. So that seems to have been a good move then. Yeah, we just accept that and play it by ourselves. So he played the expected e5 for protection. We were all good. And now what to do for black? I give you some time to think also. Let's see. Tarakam, I don't know about you, but is this a tactic? We could play c6. If he takes with a knight, we can pin it with our bishop. But this wouldn't make sense because he has two protectors and we cannot get through to the rook. So now d3 or bishop d3. Yeah, d3 would kill the diagonal for our bishop, where we just played c5 to open it up. So that wouldn't make sense, I think. And the other move you have is bishop d3, d3, okay. Or bishop d3. Bishop d3 might look okay, all right. because that would also start to give the castling rights to our king, which I'd like. So yeah, and the other purpose is of course to defend the pawn to e4 from black. So I go with you and play bishop d3, I think. Last look to the chat window. d3 would temporarily block our bishop, but open the field for our knight to go to d2. True, true, true. So, coin flip again, or... Hmm. Hmm. I think castling is more important than making a nice place for the knight. Is there anything else? I think we should also take a look at queen g3. Queen g3 would of course block the black pawn. And if he brings out his bishop, the g7 pawn is unprotected. So welcome to the other Twitch users, and if you have moves for us to consider, please let us know. Currently we are having pawn d3, bishop d3, and now my queen g3. We also talked about yeah, the knight on b1. It looks so badly placed, can go nowhere, and that's why Tarakam decided to play d3. I cannot decide here. I cannot decide what to do. Okay. Tarakam, just give me a move and we'll do exactly that one. What do you think is best here out of these three options? Go for the bishop. Okay, go with the bishop. Incorrect. Ah, I had that one in mind also, but thought he would just be able to develop by bringing out his knight to c6, so we would have just helped him. This move is critical not only to speed up development, but also to handle the pressure at a7, a5. a7, a5. This is difficult for me to understand. I believe it's very good, but well, the exchange with the when he takes with the pawn, would just bring his pawn structure even into a worse position. Maybe that's why. Oh, we take it as is. Okay, so that's fine. Didn't think of that one. Like in total, I thought of it before. Once I said, remember c6. I also had this in mind, but I just put it to the side right away because I thought, well, knight c6, and if we exchange, we have the pawn, and so that would be the only good side. We'll see. Perhaps the most interesting point to play. Okay, it is this one. What does he do? As I said. And now I think it is just take to destroy his pawn structure. Nope. And now it's d3. Okay. First out of the way and then d3. Okay. Makes sense. I'd like to take a look at the engine, what the engine says here. That was too early. I should have gone one move back. Sorry. We can only do this once we have the full variation in total done. So we just click on next and yeah, just the d3 thing. Now comes a7, a5, and is it now taking the knight or something else? If he takes my pawn on b4 now, if I retake, my rook is gone. So can I immediately do something against it? And again, from that point of view, I would just play check now with the bishop. He takes with the pawn. And then I good to attack that pawn with my pawn to b5. Otherwise, his rook is gone. So I think that's a great solution. What does chat think? Again, YouTube and Twitch chat. If you'd like to, yeah, learn with us and also be active, then just write your move into the chat, of course, and or just observe. Any case, if you like this, please be reminded to leave a like, a thumbs up, or a subscription or follow. That's always appreciated and helps my motivation, of course. Yeah, and Tarakam, what do you think? Bishop takes c6, correct? b6 takes c6, and bishop takes a6. Pawn with b. Okay, bishop takes c6. That's what we have. Then b takes c6, correct? And then we have b takes a5. Why should I take a5? I should just move b5 and have the double attack on the pawn. If I take e5, I of course wouldn't have the problem with the... Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Did not see this. Okay. So I'm still not sure, but I think also in the spirit of the course, as they're looking for tactics and so on, I think that's the one to go. But maybe we're totally off and overlook something else. We'll see. Incorrect. Yes. Oh no. Why? How? I don't get it. So if he now takes... If he now takes on b4, our bishop is attacked. And we have to do something with it. So we didn't exchange here, so he can retreat. I am unsure. We take... Ah, yes, you're right. I overlooked this. But then he could bring in the queen to a5, and we have a double attack on our... Yeah, but that doesn't make sense because he wouldn't bring the queen in front. And if we take back, well, we still have the pin on the knight. All right. Okay, that sounds solid. If we bring the queen to the a5, she's gone. Yes, that's what I said. Yes, yes, correct. Yay. So, what to play? First, we need to play next and then make the move, and we see what black played. Oh, it's already over. I believe it's coming as a variation number 3. Still, let's read. Okay, so from here again, this move is critical not only to speed up. We played an a6, d3, a5, and now comes white's key move, diffusing the tension on the a file. Okay. An awesome move that shields the a file pin and introduces a new threat with b5. Ah, now it comes. Okay. No matter how black responds, white stands better. Okay. And again, I'd like to take a quick look at the engine. And here I wanted to take a look what happens if white takes now. Let's see. So we let the engine think for a short while, and Extreme 49. Always appreciate people who use chessable. Ah, so takes, rook and take, like that line. Yes, that was the line that we discussed earlier. So the bishop is protected then when we retake with the bishop with the pawn a3 to b4. So here I just wanted to check what happens if we just take and then bring up the pawn and have a double attack on the pawn. We'll see. It goes from, oops, immediately to, let's take a little look here. So that's fine, 092, okay. Here this b takes e6, and now it suggests the okay, so but the idea here now was to play this one, and this makes it even worse. Okay. So, but why? Now it is e4. Ah, yes, the e4 move, and we are not having the double attack on the pawn. I overlooked this. Okay, understood. We can move on now. And Extreme 49, this is the first time I see you, and yeah, we're doing this for the last 10 games. Today is game 11, and to me, just great to follow this free course by International Master Andras Toth. And we learn the game basically by solving positions before we take a look at the recap, because it's nicer to understand the position before the recap is shown, because some masters just go through them so fast, and it's nice if you remember, oh, we are now here, we had that position before, solved it this way, and so on. So this is just where you're not just a consumer, you're really taking a look at what's happening in the game and learn by it. It's the reason for the course here. Okay, so next variation, we have a new one here. Tempting but wrong, white is now required to play energetic and aggressive chess to prove this wrong. Your move. So, Extreme, as you are new, what is your best move here for white to play? We all take a look and see what's happening. Okay, if they say needs to play energetic and aggressive chess, I believe it is a forcing line that's needed here. I like to do the recap first and then go into the course after to go into depth. Ah, okay, yes. Yeah, for me, basically, it's really the other way around because if the recaps are done really fast and just, well, and then he moved here, boom, 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 then he gives the moves and squares, I just cannot follow and I can yeah, just grasp more the character of the game and the tactical motives when we did this before. So, but I believe everybody does it in a different way. Okay, so here again, tower come would play queen takes d4. It's hanging, it's free. Then we, of course, are having a problem with our pawn on c4. But the queen is attacked anyway, so it's a queen that needs to move. Okay, then rook d1 f4, that's what I play. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, if I didn't know anything great in this position, I'd play queen d2. Okay, then rook d1, f4. Yeah, that is considering that black is not moving here. And what happens if you play the queen move to d2 and he takes with the knight on c4? Then you are forced to go with the queen again. Maybe wait on rook d1 looks more accurate. Okay. Again, tower comes at queen takes d4. Let me take a look what I would play. Just a tactical idea, which is of course not possible, but queen f5, attacking the knight on d3. Then maybe, no, it doesn't work. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, so, okay, tower comes says, if he takes our c4 pawn with the knight, the other knight is hanging. Okay, that's absolutely correct. Best thing to do to save our pawn, I think. But he could take with the queen. He takes our pawn with the queen. And if we take the queen, he takes with the knight. What do we have then? Is it equal? Pawns are gone, queens are gone. Yes, it would be equal from material, but we'd like to get this edge usually. I think there is something else, as always, usually. So the queen needs to go. Do we have something better than d4? Nope, nope. 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 Can we counterattack? Nope. We should always check checks. Yeah, as stupid as it is, it's always check takes threats. So there's only one check possible with the bishop to c6. He takes with the pawn, I take with the pawn, and nothing much changed. So that is just bogus. Okay. So if queen takes pawn, and then you have loads of activity. Yep. So I think we are going to take the d4 pawn and see what's happening. What we didn't consider, of course, is if we take the d4 pawn, yeah, he might just come with the rook to d8, attacking our queen again. Queen has to go out of the way, and then we lose the pawn for sure here. And the rook got just way more active. But still, I think it's the best way to go. Okay, let's go. It's incorrect. Oh, okay, it is queen e4. Why? Of course, it attacks the pawn on b7. Okay, so queen takes c4. We take the pawn on b7. Rook needs to retreat to d8. And what then? Super difficult. Okay. It's undefendable, yes. And then you have a lot of activity. It's undefendable. Nasty. Now I understand. Yes. Okay. That's actually really good, but actually I think it is defendable if he moves the rook now to a7 or b8. Hmm. For me, that is a super tough position. Yeah, and I really. So, guys, again, what do you think here? I'm kind of stuck. I think here black has options. Again, a7 or b8 with the rook to defend the pawn, or to take the pawn on c4. And then we take with the queen on b7. And he has to go with the rook to d8. If he does that, no, we cannot go back. Oh, if he does that, can we give a check? No, we can't. No, no check possible because of the knight defense on c6. I'm kind of stuck here. I don't know the best way to go. Okay, we just click next and see what black is playing and then decide. I guess that's best. Okay, so we do that super move and he played b8, defending, and still we have the problem with the knight on c4. What's coming now? Probably now the queen takes on d4. Oh, why not attacking the knight on... Now the queen is not attacked anymore. So we attack the knight on e5 with f4. And he's losing a knight. Even better, isn't it? Again, I'll take a quick look at chat here. Hello, YouTube chat. So if you have ideas how we're going to play this, my suggestion here again is now to play f4, attacking the knight. And he's losing a knight. Yep, I don't see it differently. So what do you think? I'm taking a look at chat if something's coming. Nope. Okay, so then I just play it and we see if I was correct. Correct. And now we take it with the rook here. Incorrect. You move b6, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. A brilliant intermezzo. Interestingly, one that also played a major role in the game. Okay, that's probably why Ding got destroyed by Gukesh in this game. Okay, so what's happening here and why was it necessary? b6. The queen is now attacked. Go for f4. That's what I did and it worked. But now the b6 move. I don't understand why it is so super brilliant. And that's again championship level. I'm not a world champ. And that's why it is so tough. But we learned from it. What's the reason to kick away the queen? Again, taking a look at chat because I don't get it. I have no clue. And if I don't have a clue, I usually just make a move to see the explanation for it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So we'll see. I click on next. We do that pawn move and the queen decides to go to c5. And as this was an intermezzo move, we could just take the knight now. But now we have a problem because our king would be in check if he moves up the pawn to d3. Tonight is difficult. Yesterday was easier. Okay, so and chat, no. Mm. Maybe just taking the knight on e5 now. What would I do? What I just like to notice is I like how the rook is deemed to defend the b7 square, so cannot move anywhere. His bishop has not moved one time, still stuck on the original square f8. So that is really nice and not good for black, of course. But still here, I don't know. Sorry again. Tower Come, have a very good night and thank you for following, of course. And yeah, just watch the VOD later on, video on demand, so you notice how this went. Yeah, and I hope to see you tomorrow again for the super lovely win by Ding today. That would be great. Have a good night, Tower Come. Bye. Okay, so I don't really know which one to go here. I probably take the knight on c1 now. Incorrect, and it was this one. And that was probably the better one, because this one cannot protect d3 so long as it could be taken. And this one, well, was able to do so. Well, also not 50-50 for me. I'm curious about the text that is coming up later on. Okay, so we just take. And here we have it. So now let's read. A brilliant intermezzo, interesting one that also played a major role in the game. Okay, queen c5. And then in the game, queen b6. And this was played in the game. But here the best move would have been to play f takes e5. This is the key capture. The remainder of the puzzle is your next exercise. Okay, thank you. Then we just go to the next exercise, of course. Okay, now comes the lovely finish. All right, he went here. I think the only move we can do is play the rook. Again, it's a checkmate threat first. It's not a checkmate threat. It's just a threat to take this one. And okay, queen f4 is super important move, lining up the threats against f7 and also against the rook. Yes, of course. Oh, very nice. Okay. So if he just takes here, then this would come up and we would get, interesting. Okay, so we just play that move. He took, and now we just go with the pawn. He has to move that way. Now we take with the queen check, I think. Yes, and now how to finish this? Oh, it's checkmate. We can take the rook takes and our rook takes. Marvelous, really cool. Yes. Okay. Na5. Black allows white to demonstrate the key idea. What is it? Queen It was e6, a sensational shot that forces mate, a marvelous finish. Alrighty, so this was really nice. Then we have a final position before we go into the game recap. So here, final for tonight, with 15 g6. Ding falls for the temptation of the h5 bishop h6 plan. h5 bishop a6 plan. Okay. However, he had a better and more natural way to play. What's your take? So I think this is one of the key moves where Ding got wrong in the beginning. And again, c6, okay. But again, if he plays h5, okay, that should work. Okay. Okay, so let's take now black to play. So what can he do? What can he do? Let's see. Yeah, of course, a double attack on the d3 pawn looks nice, but unfortunately the queen is in the way. So, what to do here? Can't he just protect the knight with the f6 pawn? That doesn't matter because... Yeah, but the queen needs to go out of the way. There's just no chance. Rook c8 might do sense. Because then the queen is protected and we can follow up with our plan on taking on d3. His bishop would need to come into the equation. So currently my move would be rook c8. Okay. Yes, I play rook c8. Incorrect. It was this one. Okay, to free. Okay. I didn't follow my own advice, and it is develop, develop, develop. This natural developing move that facilitates bishop d6 fits into black's setup much better. Yes. Correct. Okay, so this one. And now he played that one, so I think we should just follow up with this. And now we can just castle. Yeah, castle. Correct. And now I'm quite curious because I think we can take the pawn now. So we just take the pawn. But is that too greedy? Well, it's of course a super great move because then we basically can attack f2 with the knight. If the king takes, we just bring the bishop to g3 and have a fork. Royal fork, queen, king. So yeah, my choice would be just to take. He cannot play the bishop to e4, attacking our knight, and also having a checkmate threat on h7. If he does that, we'll take his bishop, he takes our queen, and we won a... No, we didn't win because, yeah, we still could go back with the knight from d3 to e5, and we won a pawn. But the pawn on d4 would be falling also, so it's equal. Wow, wow, wow. So here we now have our pawn on d4 being attacked, and can we somehow protect it? I think just bishop e6, bishop e7. Bishop e7 is the only thing I see here because the rest doesn't work. Yes, I think I'm going to play. So chat, just help me here. We have people in the chat, and what would be your take here? Black is to play, and again I repeat, if I take the pawn on d3 with a knight, we have this wonderful idea of taking the pawn on f2. If we take with the king, we have the bishop takes g3, royal fork, king and queen. But there is always this bishop move to e4, which threatens checkmate on h7. And then we would lose the knight on d3. So that doesn't make sense. And here... and that's the reason why I would play probably too passive, but I would play with the bishop now to e7. I don't see anything else. Well, another plan would be to go knight c5 to b3, taking the rook on a1. And if he tries to attack us with the rook to a3, we would just take the bishop. And we both would have gotten rid of the other player's bishop pair. So I just go with the bishop. We'll see. It's an alternative, at least. Alternative always means that it was a good move, but chessable had been given a correct move, which is, well, to equal strength at the move that I just did, but is not given as the correct move for this solution here. I have no idea, so I just try to protect that. But if I take here and there, the pawn is again gone. No, it's not. I can just bring the up here. We'll see. Incorrect. Wow, and now the threat of an NG6 followed by F4 is really challenging to dodge. Ah, his queen, of course, but okay, so here I don't. Why is that a threat here? Why is it a threat? So if I go to G6, the queen is attacked, needs to go away. There is one square and taking the D4 pawn for the queen. If I go to H5 with the queen, I could bring in the no. Oh, difficult. So chat in YouTube. Just let me know what is your take here. What is the best move for white if I go knight G6? Queen is attacked. Queen needs to go away. Yeah, but what I understand here is that I can really destroy his kingside pawns, and that would just give me nice field to attack. But is that the reason here? So, because if I played knight g6, I would be him. I would just take the pawn on d4. Then we could, sorry, just bring in the pawn on f4. And then he probably just brings up the pawn to g4. But still, it is not so easily defendable as it is now. So, yes. We just click on next and see what he played. So we go here. And he doesn't give a solution. It's very challenging to dodge. But okay, then in this case, we take a look at the engine before we go to the game recap. The game recap is coming right after this. Okay, where we see all the positions that we just went through. Okay, we have a big advantage for black here. It is 3.3. And my question would have gone, it's white to move. So where to go now? He says knight d2, we play that. And now it's bishop e7. Okay, attacking the queen here. Now it's queen h5 because he cannot attack the king. Let's go a few moves back here because my idea for white's best move would have been just taking the pawn. But this gives him black a big advantage because knight e takes d3 now. Okay. I cannot take because I need to get out of the way probably here. Yes, b6 now coming in. Taking the queen. Queen takes b6. Let's just play through this. Rook takes now d3. Okay, and bishop e7. Attacking the queen and the rook at the same time. Yes. X-ray attack. If he cannot take, he has to go out of the way. And then we have a double attack on the rook. Okay, understood. Well understood. Okay. So then we just go into the game recap. And thank you for following so far. And we just go right away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Game 11. Here we go. And what a game this has been. Holy. I think obviously we need to talk a lot about this game, not only because of the dramatic outcome, but also the way how the game got to this stage. I mean, this game just had it all. The weird opening, the incredible time consumption by both players. Oh, wow. Yeah, let me just get into it because I think it's best if we tackle the game more on a move-by-move basis than in any other way. So, knight f3, d5, c4, d4, b4. Wowzers. And after c5, e3, what we have on the board is actually... And this World Championship match has a bit of a reversed vibe to it because we have already seen a particular line in the English which essentially is a reverse Rossolimo. We have seen the reverse Blumenfeld, and also in that funky game where Ding started out, I can't remember the number now, maybe as early as 3. Rather 4, excuse me. Knight f3, e3, b3, bishop a3, which turned out to be a reverse London. So it's like reverse everything is on the menu. And here we are, reverse Blumenfeld. And knight f6, I think, cost Ding about 40 minutes, if not more. Absolutely bananas time consumption. And he received a lot of criticism throughout the match. He has been receiving a lot of criticism throughout the match for inconsistent time consumption, or perhaps I could say consistently bad time consumption. However, the very interesting thing to this, and I think Giri, as it is very often seen, by the way, managed to summarize it beautifully, that strange patterns and strange manners of time consumption is unsettling for the opponent. If your opponent blitzes stuff out, it's unsettling. It radiates self-confidence, knowledge. It radiates that they know what they are doing. They are confident in it. They're coming for you. I mean, Vishy Anand was an incredibly fearsome opponent, even at the early stages of his career, when it wasn't necessarily the fact that he was a world-class player, but the fact that he just played so fast and yet so well that it threw people off. And then adds Giri, the polar end of that spectrum, when someone plays ridiculously slowly, is also unsettling and unnerving, because it means that they are thinking deep, they are thinking a lot, they are really invested in what they are doing. But additionally to that, sometimes you question yourself, are they bluffing?
Great advice, it happened to me.
And they're just burning time to keep you guessing and to give you that false sense of security that you are in charge. So there is a lot going on into that too. Obviously, it's a very dangerous thing, a dangerous game to play, if you will, because having less time is definitely worse than having a lot of time. But when it comes to psychology, there is more to it than what meets the eye. Anyway, the opening turned out to be quite successful for white, although I would like to talk about this a3 move a little bit, if you don't mind, because I think this is a very instructive concept that we are going to engage with here. Not so much the move. There is a tension between these two pawns, b4, c5, obviously. And the very interesting thing is that usually if you get to play b4 with white, you feel like you have accomplished something that your opponent was meant to shut down with a potential a5, typically in Benoni structures, right? However, having played b4, now we are facing the question / dilemma of Okay, but what now? Because the problem is that taking on c5 is actually not what we want. Because what it does is that it allows black now to play knight c6, it allows black to play e5, and it allows black to play bishop takes c5, or maybe I should have played d3 first, and this position is fantastic for black. Absolutely sensational. Because now I'm struggling for space. My bishop on b2 is absolutely awful. My other bishop on e2, it has to go there because if I go g3, then after castles, bishop g2, I don't have time to castle. So I have to go to e2. Both of my bishops are catastrophic, right? My knights are nothing to write home about. Black enjoys better, more space, better development, more peace, harmony. And so taking on c5 is not really cool. Now pushing b5 in, it's an option, but really you would love to do it when there was a knight on c6 so that it comes with a tempo. And so if you put all these factors together, you come to the conclusion that actually I want to keep my pawn on b4. And likewise for black, if they wanted to engage with the captures, they would have taken on e3 already and take on b4 and accept the gambit pawn. And now after d4, of course, white has a huge center. We're going to trade this a3 pawn off, allowing the knight to come to c3. And yeah, this is just going to be a lot of fun for white. So black also doesn't want to engage. And so it turns out that the best we can do is to just hold the fort and be ready to retake and take it from here. And also throw the ball black to black's court and go like,
Oh, guys, sorry. In the meantime, I would just like to take time for a little anecdote from the press conference. And Ding was asked by a journalist if he likes to play 16 games instead of 18 or something. And he said, oh no, my lucky number is 17, but this tournament is only 14 games. The journalist asked why his lucky number is 17, and Ding smiled and said, because I'm the 17th world champion. So, yeah, I like that a lot.
How do you want to develop now? Very interesting kind of waiting concept as early as move 5. That's not how we teach chess to beginners, that's for sure. Bishop g4, ed, cd, h3, trade. And I think that this was roughly the moment in the game that Gukesh, for the first time, really got carried away. Essentially, well, not chess-wise, more in terms of self-confidence, and yeah, this has been a success as far as the opening is concerned. But then this mentality translated to chess, because here he played a very fast d3, followed by a very fast b5. And after knight d7, white is clearly, slightly, but clearly worse. And that was a huge mistake on Gukesh's end. Once again, it is a chess mistake, right? Like suboptimal followed by suboptimal. But I think that the origin of these two mistakes were not chess related. He just simply got too excited because his opponent had spent an eternity, by now down an hour on the clock, and the position is looking great. And when you are in the driver's seat, in a context like this, it's very difficult to be able to sit on your hand and not to just get carried away and try to stay in the moment, but instead to just calm the farm, lean back in your chair, close your eye as Gukesh tends to do it, and just enjoy the moment and try to remain grounded. When you are 18 and you are fighting for the world championship title, that's a tough one to do. And here c5 is definitely a tricky move to find because it's a very committal decision. And very often these pawn chains turn out to be easy targets that you can hit with so many pieces. So it either needs to be very well calculated and proven correct, or you don't go there at all. And there is a motif here that makes it work that is quite incredible. And that motif is the following. Check. The point of extending the bishop's diagonal, of course, is that we can operate on both of these. D3. And here it appears that after A5, we can kiss goodbye to the pawn chain and to all of our advantage too. And that would actually be true, except for one move and one move only. And that one move that keeps the ball going is bishop A4. An absolutely brilliant and highly unusual motif in the context of this A-file pin is that we pull the bishop back, we negate the pin, we maintain our pin, and so AB yields no benefits whatsoever to black. And in fact, we are threatening to play B5, B6, winning the queen on the discovered check. So let me model that for you. Chook. And see you, black queen. So this all had to be seen in order to engage with the move C5. But I almost got the impression on the basis of Gukesh's play speed that he didn't even engage with the thought, let alone the possibility of playing C5. He spent on D3 very little time, and B5 was instantaneous. And now it was his turn to spend 40 minutes on the clock. Absolute insanity. Insanity. Now, that being said, it's very interesting that as I was watching the game and listened to the commentary of mostly Leiko and Giri, excuse me, I got the impression that Black's position was incredibly good. And any chess player who has seen the structure and has a decent understanding of chess would confirm that Black was better here. What I didn't quite gauge well, I should rather add, was the measure of how much better this position really is for Black. To which the correct answer, and that genuinely surprised me, is but not by much. Tiniest margins here we are talking. And the reason why it is so deceptive is because Black's position is super easy to play. And when one side has 5 back-to-back super obvious moves to make, it very often lends itself to that false sense of security that your position is kilometers ahead. It usually is ahead, by the way. If you have 5 moves super obvious back-to-back to play, that generally tends to mean that your position is better. But also at the same time, it is easy to overestimate how much better it is because it's so fluid. So let's see what happened here. G3, knight C5, bishop G2, piling up on the only target. Knight FD7. Not my favorite move, might I add, but okay, I would have played here E5. And I'm not saying it, by the way, because it's the engine's favorite move, but because it's the most natural, obvious move, followed by bishop d6, followed by castle, and then we will take it from there. Knight of d7 to me was a little bit strange. Castles, knight e5, and queen f4. And what we observe here, and this is also very important in the context of understanding how this game ended up the way it did, is that if you play what I said I would play, which is e5, followed by bishop d6, followed by, I don't know, like let's say a4, followed by castles, followed by rook e8 with the idea of knight away, f5, e4, the plan that was highlighted by Leiko in his analysis, you are fundamentally playing a positional style which is gearing up toward a very thematic central break, which then is going to turn the game widely tactical and sharp. But that tactical phase and the sharp feature of the position arrives only when you are best prepared to fight. So that is a very comfortable, natural, nice trajectory for the game to develop alongside. In contrast, in the actual game, knight fd7 followed by knight e5 invited an extremely sharp, calculable, move-to-move precision required sort of scenario, which is basically the description of what Gukesh is good at in chess, or I should rather rephrase that to what Gukesh is excellent at, because he's good at every aspect of the game. Hello, world champion challenger, but calculable, sharp, tactical, that's where he's in his element. And so I think this was, again, both a strategic and a psychological mistake by Ding to stir the game toward this scenario where now everything is hanging, but all of a sudden, White's development disadvantage that was very apparent in the line after e5, bishop d6 is slowly diminishing. And now it is not entirely an outlandish concept to, for example, sacrifice this pawn in certain scenarios and allow White to gain some initiative in return. For example, right here, I looked at a line with knight c takes d3. And what I have found here is going to blow your mind. I guarantee you that. Check this out. Queen e4. Queen d4 is also possible, but then after e6, bishop c5, again, black's piece development appears to be extremely threatening and intimidating. So instead, queen e4 seems to me to be a cheekier response to pile up on the diagonal. And here, admittedly, I tried a bad move just because I wanted to demonstrate some of the tactical ideas that are really, really relevant and typical in these structures. So work with me here. F4. When two knights are guarding each other, that's almost always bad. Now we are exploiting it. Knight c1. And here comes the genius idea. One that was also, I wouldn't say a decisive feature, but a crucial feature in the game, b6. This intermezzo is so important in this structure. Sometimes all it is just opening up the b file to find a target per game. Sometimes it is far more direct, like here, when all we want to do is to remove the queen from a diagonal. So after queen e5, all of a sudden, we are attacking two pieces at the same time, and White is winning material. The game is over. Don't worry, this is not the fancy stuff I was getting you ready for. So instead, queen c5 is a logical way to play, which keeps an eye on e5, so I can't take with the queen, and things are looking pretty decent. Check this out. Fe, knight b3, and queen f4. Now that is a beauty already piling up on f7, but this is not the end of it. After knight takes a1, queen takes f7 is not going to cut it, or it might, but after king d8, there is still a quite steep hill to climb for White to prove that this attack is successful. Instead, after knight a1, we have here the absolutely stunning e6, introducing a new checkmate threat, no less. So if you play f6, it's mate down here. And if you move the rook, that's the really, really cool part. Then we have check, king d8, queen f8, rook f8, and rook f8 checkmate. And that variation, I think, highlights the very, very dramatic change of character in the game that was brought upon by Ding. And this is very important that we understand that. These kinds of scenarios, and to some extent, what went down in the game is a very, very akin scenario to this. Sharp tactical was invited by none other than this move, knight fd7. This was the move that changed the direction of the game, in my book at least, from a very logical, calm positional pressure to very concrete, sharp, calculable, and dangerous variations. So, queen f4, rook d8 best by Ding, and rook d1 also best by White, defending d3. Actually, knight d2 was also a possibility here, apparently already giving up the pawn on d3, and then again following the pattern of queen e4 and taking it from here. Needless to say that I don't need to introduce you to this idea anymore, because that goes without saying. And White has there too, very dangerous counterplay. Gukesh played rook d1 first, and then a4. Now this g6 idea was also one that I don't know. I did not feel happy about this. to my mind, it's trying to force something into the position that is simply not there. The natural way, again, with e6, bishop d6, would have been a heap healthier. And in fact, allow me here to flip the board around. I would like to show you what kind of dangers are still lurking in the position for white if they don't play cautious enough chess. Check this out. I tried to play in a similar vein with the white pieces as in the game to demonstrate the idea. Bishop d6, and lo and behold, I'm threatening with a lot of things as a result of the discovered attack on the queen. So queen g5, castles, thank you very much. And now the queen again is in a very, very awkward spot, so I swapped it to h4, but now comes a brutal move, f5, and this introduces a really, really nasty threat. So not only am I free to take this pawn now, but if they defend it, then after knight g6, queen g5, or h5, I'm not even sure which one is better, and f4, black begins an absolutely vicious attack, which, let's be honest, is not going to be defended by any of these pieces. And yeah, white's position is just catastrophic. It's falling apart. And of course, g4 is losing instantly to f3, bishop f1, and among others, maybe bishop g3 is even an idea here with the idea of bishop f2, queen h2 mate. So yeah, dangers were still lurking in the position, but g6, in my opinion, was the last move that basically disallowed Ding anymore to play in a very aggressive attacking fashion to exploit the very backward development of the white queen side. And from here on out, Gukesh is in his element. b6, perfectly timed. Queen d6, bishop a3. Now we can always take on c5 with the tempo. Ta-da! Queen c5, queen e4, and look at the contrast. White is just about to finish development. We have got a marvelous target. d3 has survived. The bishop on h6 is, I wouldn't say it's misplaced, but it's definitely not a piece that you want to write home about. So this is where the game just slipped out of hand completely from Ding. And I think that perhaps it's important that we appreciate this whole entire process, because when you do it, right, when you are in the middle of it, you don't get to observe always as thoroughly and accurately the trends of your own game. And that trend started with knight of d7, but it's a trend only because I spent an hour analyzing the game, understanding the ins and outs, the should haves, could haves, and so I managed to kind of reverse engineer the whole entire process of how it happened that it was so good, and then instead of going good, it started to going really, really poorly for Ding, and he ended up in a position which, by the way, is it losing for black? Not a chance. It's like 0.3. But the point is not that. The point is that the black's position is no longer easy to play. There are no moves that are lending themselves to be played, and it's white who has the initiative. None of this was the case 5 moves ago. Now, add to this that before all this shebang started, Ding wasted, if you want to call it that, or lost, I think is perhaps more accurate, or used almost an hour on the clock. So now he has limited time and a difficult position to navigate. So that is the reason why Gukesh, he felt like he was playing super easy chess again. Knight a1, by the way. Hello. A little bit of a cutie one there to bring the knight around to b3, c5. And Ding is on the defensive. And when the control of a game slips out of your hand, and from hero to zero, instead of looking for a long time positional pressure that is almost impossible to mess up, you find yourself defending hanging pieces, hanging pawns every step of the way. That is when moves like this happen. Many claim that it's not worthy of a world championship match, and that this and that and the yada yada yada, and that no 2000 would blunder this. And there is an element of truth to it. Like, this is an extremely ugly and hardly ever seen blunder on 2700 level. Don't get me wrong. But I really hope that with the provided context, it sort of makes sense how a world-class player of 2700 can walk into something like this, especially when there is only 4 games, including this one, left in the match for the title. So the stakes are infinitely higher than what they were, 8 days ago, when losing a game, is still more than something that you can manage. Now with 3 games to play after this absolutely terrible blunder, this is a different story. And so whilst I'm very sympathetic towards Ding and the blunder, I also hope that at the same time I managed to, I wouldn't want to use the word fabricate a narrative, because I do think that the narrative that I provided is the one that created the situation. It's not fabricated, it is what happened. But I do hope that this narrative made it more sensible for us to understand what went down in the game, how this blunder could come across or could happen in the game, and why it is very unlikely to be repeated again. Never say never, but I don't think that we are going to see another grave mistake like Queen C8 was here, which, by the way, was also coming from the concept of being tactically aware, because various knight b7 and rook b7 ideas are pending. Best would have been knight b4, but once again, partly to be fair to Ding, your engine will tell you that it's only +1, sorry, not even, somewhere between 0.6 to 0.9. But excuse me, the reality is that while material is level, white has a clear initiative, lots of weak pawns on the board, and no clear plan or counterattack in sight for black. It's a miserable, absolutely miserable position to play with limited time in a match context where you never want to find yourself playing for 2 results, the bad kind of 2 results, loss or draw, which is exactly what this is. Now, obviously, poor Ding fell out of the frying pan right into the fire by allowing this. But again, I think it's important that we understand that the position was already very unpleasant. Now, to be clear, BC loses rook b8, queen comes off, white is a piece up, whereas rook c7 allows white to play either queen b6 or d6. Let's just go with b6, defending the knight, keeping an extra piece, and the game is well and truly over. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my take on game 11. Definitely a very tragic / drama-filled encounter. The challenger is now up a point and is leading the World Championship match 6-5. And we are looking at 3 games to be played. And I suspect at this point that we are not going to see any more decisive games, despite the fact that obviously that is now Ding's interest, and then he's going to try his absolute best to fight back. But my prediction is that we are going to have 3 very hard-fought draws for the remaining 3 rounds. But of course, that is just a guess. So instead of doing that any longer, I'm just going to call it a day now, and I'm going to see you in the next video before we go for a day, the final break, before the entire match ends on, well, if it does, on game 14. So that's it, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Thank you, Andras. Really nice, and also really appreciate it. And I love it that these recaps are done a day late. So we already know that Ding won the game today, game number 12. Was super, super nice. And we have a close championship match, of course. So, we did the positions here from 11. They were really tough today. I didn't get much right, but if you haven't been able to watch the live shows, then just click on the not click, but backwind, and you will, or rewind, and you will just be directed through the positions, of course. Okay, so with that, I also call it a day. Wish you a very good night, and see you tomorrow for the positions for game number 12 and the recap, of course. So have a good night and bye-bye.